So next topic is UI table view. So this is a view that represents data using a row in a single column. So we can say like it displays the rows of vertically scrolling content in a single column. So each row in the table contains one piece of your app's content. For example, this contacts app displays the name of the each contact in separate row, and the main page in the setting of iOS. So we can just see simulator and setting. Okay, so here we can see the setting app displays the available group of settings. You can configure a table, display single long list of rows, or you can create a group related. So this is the group of particular things. So we can say group related rows into section to make navigation content easier. Okay, so there are some delegate and data source protocol that need to adopt that particular view controller to use table view. So delegate and data source are nothing but the protocols. So as we learned in Swift programming guide, so protocols are just methods that need to adopt. So we can just add a definition to it. So whatever that particular table content needed, that is part of the data source and delegate. So there is one more method, which is number of rows in section. So that means we can see in the simulator. So this is suppose one table view. So this table view has number of rows. So for example, if we consider this only as a screen view, these are the not, then we can say this has 4 rows, and for that number of cells are required. And next part is cell for row at index path. So that means each cell of that index path. Suppose there are 4 rows, that means there is index which is starting from 0, 0, 1, 2, 3, and each row has its cell. So what content should be shown on that? It should be written in the cell for row at index path method. And there is one more method which is did select row at index path, which is used for when we click on that particular cell. So that particular delegate method gets called, and whatever navigation logic or you want to display anything, that will be written in that method. So we can say these are the theoretical part, but how to use that table view we can just see in the demo part. So as we created earlier this training demo app, we can use the same one. So here I have removed everything, so there is no ScrollView related thing here. So we have view controller and Windows to reboot. So for using table view, we need to add table view, UI table view. So click on this plus icon in the object library. We can just scroll down to get table view or just search. So I can just search with table view. So here we can see table view cell, and then table view controller. So that means if we drag the table view controller here, so you can get view controller with the table view inside it. So we can directly either using this way, or as shown in the library, object library, we can just drag the table view in the existing view. So as per current our requirement, we have already view controller. So no need to use this table view controller, but you can choose whatever you want in upcoming things. So for now, I will just drag table view. So now table view is added here. We just need to set up the constraint. Suppose that screen requires half of the content which has table view, and half content is another view. You can just set the constraint according to that. But for now, we'll just use table view for the full screen. So I will just add constraint from all the sides, top, leading, trailing, and bottom as a 0. So it will be whole screen. So now the table view is added on the view, but we want to configure this table view programmatically in the view controller file. So for that we need just outlet. So I will click here and just select. So suppose this view controller has class assigned as a view controller. So that means if the project is bigger, you have different names. So depend on that, we just need to check that custom class should be there, and we just select the particular custom class. Otherwise, the outlet is not able to create. So click on view controller. I will just go here, select the table view, then control drag into the view controller file. So here you can see connection as outlet, object as view controller. We have to provide the name. It's a type of UI table view, and storage type is weak. So I will just simply name as a table view again. Okay, so whatever part needed on the design side is done on this main storyboard, and we are here for in the view controller. So now as we check, like we can just go back to the slide. Yeah, here we have to adapt two protocols, UI table view delegate and UI table view data source. So what are these? We'll just go into deep while doing coding. So these are the protocols. So I need to adapt, right? So I will just use UI table view data source. So once I use that, it generates me the error. So, and it says type view controller does not conform to protocol UI table view data source. So it's saying like, should we add or not this? But why we are adding this? We just check. So just go and command click on this UI table view data source and jump to definition. So here we can see the iOS library. In the UI kit, we have UI table view and then UI table view data source. So this is a public protocol which is adopted from NS object protocol. And here we can see only the declaration of those methods. And it is saying to adopt those methods. But we can see this particular data source has a lot of methods. We can see there are a lot of methods, but do we still need to add all of them or just few of them? So for that, we can just check the method signature. Here we can see table view, and this table method signature is like function name is always same. We can see table view, but we have different parameters as a it's, and return type is also different. So they use like function overloading, or we can say method overloading for this. So we normally in the iOS, like iOS guys normally follow this, like read this method like from this parameters like number of rows in section, self for row. We never read like table view, and the number of rows in section. So to identify particular method, we just try to use this naming convention. So we can, and we can see like there is proper documentation why what this method do. So here number of rows in section and self for row at. So these two methods do not have optional keyword before the function, and other below methods have optional. So that means once we adopt this protocol, we just need to make sure that these two methods should be there. These are the optionals we can add or we can just ignore all of them. So you can go and check every method like why what this particular thing is for. For now, we are just creating a simple table view. So we will just adopt these methods. So I will go back to our code, and for like doing some clean code, we just follow like if there are multiple protocols we are adapting, we should use extension to differentiate the code. So we can just use extension to view controller, and we can just use this data source here. Okay, it will again generate the error. So we can, if I click on fix, it will fix one method. There is one more method that we need to do, need to adapt. If I click this, I think this is some issue with it. It generated the particular methods. So now the error gone. So these two methods are needed. So suppose I want to show like 20 rows in my application. So I just need to return here, return 20 because its return type is integer. So normally if we have dynamic content, suppose we are getting some array, then we can just use that arrays count. So for now we can just do the same way. We just declare, make sure like if this is a particular to that file, just use private keyword and all the things. So that access specifier things we try to do while doing the coding, not after the adding the particular content. So I'll just create array. I'll just array which has strings one and so on. So for now I just create, copy paste all the things. Normally we get such type of data dynamically and we just render, but for demo purpose we just do manual thing. Suppose there are now we added 11 items, we can just stick to the 11 items. So we have temp array of strings, and I just return, instead of 20 I just return temp array dot count. Okay, so we have number of rows in this particular table view as 11. Now I just need to create one cell. So that means I will show. So here we have particular number of cells, let's say 11, but what should be the content on that particular cell that we need to write here in the cell for row at index path. So that means there are 11 items, so this method will get executed 11 times. So each row will executed here, and as the method signature we have that particular table view and then index path. So this index path property is important because we click on index path, we can see index path has other elements, but the main element is row and column. So index path, sorry, index and section. So that means we have suppose we haven't added the number of sections, so that is also one more method, but which is optional. Just a minute. We use number of rows in section, but there is one more method which is number of sections. So we haven't added because it was optional, but if we have multiple sections we just need to or adopt this method and return particular number of sections. So currently we haven't added, so default is 1. So in this index path we get row and section. So particular for this we always get one section which index will be 0 because it is 1, and number of rows depend on this count. So that many times this method will get executed. So we just need to return here UI table view cell. So I will just return this, but as we haven't added anything to that particular cell, this will not show anything on the UI. So for that we need to do some customization for that ourselves. For this we can just create one more thing. So as you see earlier, when we checked here table view, we see table view controller table view, but there is one more thing, table view cell. So we can either drag and drop that table view cell into this table view, or we can just create the custom one. So we normally prefer to create the custom one, so that may be reusable in the other screen as well. That means if we create one cell here and some other screen also needed that particular cell, we can't access that. So normally we practice we should create the custom cells. So right click in the project and create new file. So choose Cocoa Touch class. Here we need table view cell class, so it should be subclass of UI table view cell. So just type UI table view cell, like name like custom table view cell. You can do you can add whatever name, and make sure to click on also create XIB file. So XIB file is for UI part, and Swift file is for its coding, and language is Swift. Okay. So I will tick that XIB and create next. I will create here only. Okay, so this will generate two files. One is Swift file, one is cell file, XIB file. So here we can just create whatever UI we want. So here I will just add one label. Okay, so I can add constraint. For now, I will just add 5, 10. Okay, so we added one label on the cell. Now we will create outlet for this label so that we can dynamically change content of this particular label. So we can say name label. Okay, so that means we have created custom cell. So now we want to use that cell into our table view. Okay, so here I can go and create a cell. That cell we just need to create table view dot. There is one method dequeue reusable cell with identifier. So I will come back to on this after we done designing this part, because this is a very important thing. So now we can add whatever identifier for that custom cell to identify that particular cell. So for simplicity, I will just use the same name, and it should be typecasted into that particular class. But if we we don't make some, suppose there is we can't find the UI custom table use cell, and we try to decrease this one, as we added as force unwrap, it will crash. So for that we just use optional binding here. We can use iflet or guardlet. So as if we don't find custom cell, then there is nothing to do in the code. So we should use early exit. So as we know, there is iflet and guardlet, but for the early exit we use guardlet. So I will just convert this syntax into guardlet and just make this as optional. So use guard let this cell, and if else it will be return, and we have to return UI table use cell. So we'll just use here, and that cell will be returned here. Okay, so now we have created cell, and if now we run this app, it will not work. I will show how first I will just run. So here we can see app is run, but there is no data shown here, because we adapted that protocol data source, but not assigned to this class. So we'll just create one method like setup, and just add table view dot data source equal to cell, and this method here, now you can see we have created a data source. So that means these methods will get executed. But there is one problem. We can just run and see. Okay. Yeah. So we can see, we can just add, we cannot see the data here, because that custom table view cell has content as a label, but it is not showing here. Okay, so for that we just debug things. Like I can explain like what is the issue, but for simplicity or understanding, we just need to debug this part, because as I mentioned earlier, number of rows in section will called once, which is and which returns 11 as a count, but this method will be executed 11 times. So we'll check. So according to our code, we should return this cell as a custom table view cell. Let's see what it returns. So I will call this again. So this method is called, okay, and we can just print this object, like what is the content. So count will be 11. Okay, so I will go here. Yeah, so here if I go to next line, it just return your table view because there is some exception, because it found as a null. This custom table view cell it didn't find, that's why it not return this particular thing. If I go here, you can see it is like 11 times it will go and return table view cell. Okay, so for that the reason is, let me stop this. Okay, so reason is this custom table view cell we used identifier as a custom table view cell, but that is not added anywhere in this cell. So we can either add here, we can go and just check that particular cell. There is identifier, use identifier, we can just add here, or we can go here in the file and you can add identifier. So we add programmatically, because if we use that particular cell in other controller, then that controller can has its own cell identifier. If we add in the XIV file, then adding in the new view controller, we just need to go back and see like what is the name of that particular identifier. Okay, so I will just add identifier for this one, table dot register. So I need to register nib. So nib or xib is the same thing. So how to create that UI nib object? Just make sure like use UI nib and then constructor of that particular thing. So we can find three things. We'll use nib name because we know that particular file name. So click here, just enter, copy that name, add here as a string. Bundle you can set as a nil, and reuse identifier, the same identifier where we used here. We can, this is not mandatory like nib name and identifier should be same, we can use different one. So nib name should be same as this one, and identifier here and here should be same. So for simplicity we use everything as the same. Okay, so now we have registered. Now we can turn. I have removed breakpoint. We can directly see, because yes, 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11. So we can see 11 labels here. Okay, but in the code we have array with different names, but we haven't assigned to that particular cell. So here we can go cell dot, we can access that particular label. Here you can see that particular label's name is name label. Go here, cell dot name label dot text, and this text needed a string. So we want this different text for the different cell. So as I mentioned earlier, index path has particular index of that cell. So I can go here and just write array name temp array and index as index path dot, we can see item row section. So we can use row. I will run again. You can see item 1 2 3 up to 11. So now we have created this thing, but like it, suppose I want a different size for this element. So for that we can use delegate properties. So as we use UI table data source here, we can just simply copy here, and instead of data source we use delegate. Okay, so we use delegate, but it's not given any error, because methods from this delegate are all optionals. Nothing is mandatory one. There are a lot of methods, we use couple of that. First we need to assign that delegate to this class, w.delegate equal to cell. Now I will show two delegates here. First one is we want size. So we can say like height. So this method is height for what index path. So that means at every index, what should be the height? Okay, so we can do our logic like particulars. Suppose I want first cell as 100 height and other cells as 50 height. We can just add checks here. For now, I will just return same for everything. So I will just add 100 and just run again. So you can see 100 height for each and it is scrollable. So as I mentioned earlier, TableView and CollectionView both are subclasses from UI ScrollView. So it adapts the scrolling properties from the ScrollView. So now I will show the new method, which is did select. So that means when we tap on that particular cell, what should be the happen? So now we are clicking, but it is not doing anything. For now, we just print. For now, it is not. So I will just clear the log and click on that cell. Now you can see there is nothing printed. So as we use did select row at index path, we just print you have selected which row. We can just add index path dot row. I will run. So I will just click on item 2 and go in the here logs. So you can see you have selected one row because index start from 0. That's why it's showing 1 here. So if I click on 11th item, it will show you have selected 10th row. Okay, so like suppose we want to do some navigation part and all the things, anything on click of that particular cell, we can just add in the did select row at index path. So these are the main methods in the table view. So as I mentioned earlier, this DQ related thing. So DQ reusable cell means if we have like this table view has suppose 1000 rows, and then a table will not create 1000 cells. It will just create only visible cells. Suppose in current case we have 8 visible cells, but we have 11 cells, 11 total items. It will not generate a memory for 11 one. It will generate only for 8. If I scroll up and I can see 9th item, but one item is gone. So memory is reused between those 8 cells. So that part we no need to handle. The iOS itself provided this functionality, which is added, which is handled in the DQ reusable cell only. So that's why DQ reusable cell is a very important thing. So yeah, so TableView is very powerful UI control and which is more commonly used in the iOS app. That's it for the TableView.